So, just double check that everything looks good. Alright, looks like we have a 5-second stream delay, which I've been meaning to change. Oh yeah, so I'm probably gonna be, basically I'm gonna be fixing an issue with script invaders that Tim kind of told me about with the latest version of Hazel, with the new physics system, basically. And I figured I'd just start up a bit of a stream while I'm working on it. Since I had to cancel the stream yesterday. I was having some serious network issues. But hopefully everything should be fine today. Lonnie, what's up? Just in time, yeah. So Tim basically sent me a message today saying that he was having some problems with script invaders on the new physics system. So if I go and hit play and I fire, you can see entity alien cell has dynamic rigid body component along with a complex mesh collider component. This isn't allowed. And the thing is, these guys shouldn't have a complex collision mesh. They should have both. Not much up here. Probably gonna try and work on audio since I don't feel like fighting mono today. Yeah, fighting mono is painful. But yeah, so for some reason these submeshes in this prefab, they're not able to be cooked as convex for some reason, which I don't really understand because they used to be able to, like in the previous physics system. So I'm gonna have to basically take a look and debug that a bit. And up here we actually have, okay, failed cleaning mesh. But that's the triangle mesh builder. That's not even the convex one. So, worst case, I probably have to create a mesh collider asset for all of these, because it's possible that some parameters are screwing it up. So I think we're gonna try that right away. Where did that prefab go? So it's exploded alien new var1. Okay, sure. Let's see, my microphone seems to be working still. Cool. Exploded this one, basically. And if I go cook, it doesn't work because it fails. Now why is that? Well, could it be the fact that it's checking these guys? Oh, hang on. Actually, why aren't we seeing... I'm not seeing the preview. But it also didn't say that it failed. The preview could just be an issue with the editor itself. So... if I drag this out... Interesting. That shouldn't be happening. Oh, come on. This is a bit annoying. Oh. No, it's set default startup project scene. Yeah, there is. I just can't be bothered. I'm literally only using this to fix up collision issues, and as we can see, there definitely are some collision issues. Okay, so for some reason, this being a dynamic mesh, is only showing one submesh. Which is definitely a flaw. So which is the mesh handle, like that. Update preview entity. Oh, right. Because we only do this. Yeah, because you would have to create one for each individual submesh. Which would be nice. It would be nice if you could just handle that automatically. Which, I mean, it should. So yeah, okay, this is definitely a bit of a flaw with the current system. Well, okay, hang on. Take a look at a cook mesh, which takes the asset So this one. First we try and do simple, which is the convex one, which should actually do all of them. Ooh. Yeah, that kind of changes how we use the colliders. The preview is still not correct. But in that case, the correct way of kind of dealing with these colliders would be to go and I don't actually want the prefabs. I just want the mesh. Would be to drag this out, and on this one you would add a mesh collider. But the thing is, that's not entirely correct either. Because each of these need to have their individual collider, right? Yeah. Okay. Because we bake all of the collider data into a single file. Now, technically what I could do is basically try and reset this, but you can see it still doesn't cook just this one. So I think the way we need to do it is we need to take the submesh index and only cook that submesh. Because you can see this is obviously not correct. Which effectively means that for dynamic meshes, each submesh needs their own collider. So, okay. Because this just does it for the component. Well, I mean, we store the submesh index. in the component. MSK Sealy, thanks for following. Much appreciated. Because as far as I'm aware, these guys should now be storing the correct submesh index into this collider. So but why does it fail to cook it? That's the real question. Not sure I'm gonna be able to debug this properly, but let's give it a shot. So if I take this one, we force cook. Yeah, this isn't even aware of... The asset is not even aware of the submesh index. But if we take a look... we do have all of these. Do that. Yeah. That should be fine, I think. I don't think this is correct. The quantized count is not accurate, because it shouldn't just be vertices.size. What's up, Eddie? 2-month subscription. Thank you so much, dude. It's going not great right now. We have some issues with the Scriptometers project. So this obviously failed. Zero area test failed. So it failed to do this. Physics. If the algorithm cannot find 4 initial vertices without a small triangle, that runs. So Hmm. That's why this fails. So we should probably fix that. Secondly, I mean, this isn't correct because we need to know I think this should technically be minus the base verdicts, maybe, to get the verdicts count for this one. Well, for now I'll just leave as this. I'll leave it to do. This should be the verdict count for this submesh, not the entire mesh hierarchy. So this fails. Now they mention like a toolkit thing. Which you apparently could use. Because we definitely want to be able to handle the case where we fail to check zero area triangles. So they construct this, they try and cook it. If they can't, they use this. To do it instead. Which, like, we could potentially do that, I think. Or at the release add an option to do so. Where am I? There. But I'm unsure what the best way of handling this is. Like, I'm not even sure how we used to handle this. If we take a look and we look under history. We'll take a look in here. View the file. Because we took in the collision mesh. We would do convex mesh, which is exactly what we want. We do all of this. I mean, this is literally identical to what I'm doing. Because we go through the submeshes, we include them here. Alright. Then we write them out. We may be handling it differently in the physics shapes though. That's entirely possible. And it's the convex, which takes in a component. We grab that. Yeah. Because we only do it for the submesh itself. Which I think we changed. No. Yeah, I actually really like the not equal kind of being joined into a single kind of glyph. I actually prefer that over not. I mean, it things like this, right, where you have a greater than or equal to being conjoined. It takes some time to kind of get used to it, but I think it looks a bit nicer. So yeah, we actually do grab this. It's just that it fails to cook and the preview is incorrect. I can actually... No, I don't want to delete that. Fixed mesh collider preview being incorrect. And fix convex collider clicking. So the real issue is it just fails to cook, right? And the preview is drawn incorrectly. So in reality, fixing the kind of cooking is pretty simple. We can just create an asset and disable like triangle zero area triangle checking. Like I think we did, if I'm not wrong. For this, yeah, we disabled it, right? So that way, if I go into exploded alien and I want the prefab. Alright, I select all of these. And I go, just give it that collider. Save. Then I need to do the same thing for bar 2, but I need to actually create a collider for it first. Like that. Oh. Disable that. Cook. Save. Did that work? Failed to clean the mesh for triangle mesh builder, but that's fine. I think that might be fine. We do that, we save. Just gonna be explicit about saving. So in theory, this should have solved the actual error. And that's not actually the scene I want to play. Now, we may have to go in and update the actual prefab references. Okay. What? It's trying to cook them again? Why? Okay. God damn it. Yeah, there's something messed up with my headphones. So sometimes they just start blasting some horrible noise. For some reason. And I don't know why. Alright, guess no music for me then. That's super annoying. So I mean, it was able to cook these guys. So why is it complaining that it couldn't. This is annoying. Okay. If I create a new dummy theme, just testing, I take this guy, drag him out, we add in directional light and a skylight, set it to dynamic. Why isn't... Oh, there it is. We can see it has that one. If I hit simulate, it does explode. Right? And we don't get any errors. But when we spawn it as a prefab, that's when it gets messed up. Alright, so we can do a quick test of this. If I just add a and this, I have a prefab, call it exploded alien prefab, and get rid of that one, do it on update. Wear hair. It's gone. I love shaving my hair, especially during like the winter. No, summer. Sorry. So keep going. Yeah, let's just do this. We create an empty script. Right. Have to actually reload. Add that in. Why isn't it showing up? Oh. It is. It's just called something else. It's called that. We get rid of this one. We hit play. I mean, it seems to be working. Now I can't actually see anything for some reason. We have a cube. No. Yeah, this is proving annoying to test. Oh, we don't even have a camera, that's why. Yeah, and it works. Let's try the second variant. That also works. So I'm guessing we have to update the prefab reference. Oh. The prefab references. In here. So I suspect they under here. Alien explosion. Yep. There's definitely some problems with the prefab system. So we do that. I hit play. And it's not working. Because something is not set to... Why? $65 in alien explosion. And it's this one, which apparently isn't set to anything. Also, no idea why Tim actually does this. Yeah, they're not actually set for some reason. Even though I just set them. Because now this is now in satellite controller. Which line was it? 77. The live. You're kidding me. Okay, prefabs are seriously broken beyond, like, oh, it's so annoying. Okay, satellite generator references a satellite prefab. It's like the scripts don't get instantiated for some reason. Okay, that no longer happens. We do that. We can see it's missing the bullet fragment. Which is from Play Bullet. I think there's an issue when prefabs have scripts. Okay, so I need to investigate that eventually. Investigate prefabs with script components. Set that up. Alien explosion. Well, we have a bunch of these guys as well. Because we have generic alien, which does have them. And then I need to update these. Alright. Yeah, now it's working. Except, still something's broken. The enemy bullets controller, which I suspect is in here. Yeah. Just 1 second. Let's see if that. Yep, still happening. For some reason. Wait a moment. I'm gonna see if I can fix my damn headset not working. Super annoying. Let's look in here. That just stopped the audio completely. Hang on. Hey! That fixed it. Cool. Nice. Yeah, I mean, this seems to be working just fine now. So basically you just have to create some colliders and disable this. So I'm gonna just check something real quick before I send that over to... Oh, my bad. Before I send a message to Tim, I want to make sure it actually functions after you close it enough and open it up again. Nope. I mean, it works, it just doesn't work properly. We're still getting those errors, but I think that's due to the whole script prefab thing. No, that has it. So are they using the correct ones? No. Interesting. The prefabs don't deserialize the colliders properly. For some weird reason. So if I go ahead and assign that, save, we or is it these guys? Are they even used? I don't know, I may just have to tell Tim kind of what to do and he can figure the rest out. But if we take a look at our mesh collider, yeah, what's up with this? Like, it's not actually storing the it's not storing the actual collider asset for some reason. Serialize. Prefab. There. We do serialize entity, and we do deserialize. Okay. Okay. Let's have a look. Under serialized entities. Entity. Where's the mesh glider? Master code Daniel, thank you for following. Yeah, you see, it's not serializing this for some reason. So because for some reason changing a prefab doesn't actually save it. You have to save the project, save the scene. Prefabs are not saving. Unless maybe you drag them out. Oh, that's Collider. Oh, wait. Yeah, I know how you have to do it. You have to basically come in here. You have to update this. So annoying. We need to fix this prefab workflow. You drag this in, and then you right-click and do update prefab. That should update it. And it does. Oh, okay. I'm gonna tell you how we need to fix that. That is the most annoying workflow I have ever had to deal with. Yeah, why is that a thing? Okay, I'm gonna send Jan a message. Yeah, that's super annoying. That may have also been why the scripts weren't updating. Okay, so we still need to fix the mesh glider preview being incorrect. because if I open this up, you can see we only see a single piece, because we don't actually go through and build the entire hierarchy. Yeah, prefabs are not doing so well. Okay, so while we're going to update preview entity, we can't just do this. We actually need to go through and create child entities for it. Instantiate mesh, possibly, is what we want. And that will give us an entity back. We can do tab data collider entity equal that, possibly. And this should only happen here. Because this will take care of it for us, I think. Now that does mean we need to do tab data viewport scene destroy entity collider entity, I think. Function. Alright. Generate collider. Yeah, we want to do that. Well, yeah, I think we do. Do we? Because we want to use the actual collider mesh. Which I guess, yeah, it would use that. Well, no, because this isn't technically correct. Because it will actually create a new asset, which is not what we want. We want to use this asset that we have. So we don't want it to do that. Because what we want to do is viewport scene. Get all entities with what exactly? Mesh components, I think. This returns a view. Mesh collider component. With that, Isn't it the handle on the glider asset though? Not the mesh. Yeah, it is. Okay, now it should work. I'll be back in a moment, just gonna get some water. Okay. And now we see the entire thing. Which is exactly what we want. Only I'm not sure that they'll actually be using the correct submesh index for their colliders. Because all of these would have it set to 0. I think. So technically we need to go through all of the yeah, we actually need to do and we also need to get component, mesh component, submesh index, do mesh collider, submesh index is equal to that. And I do think I know why we aren't seeing the preview. It's because of this. Render options show physics collider is equal true. Adventix, what's up, man? How's things? Currently eating and I've got heaps of things to do. Yeah. That's life, I guess. Should probably have some lunch, but I can't be bothered. Uh-huh. So I think I know what's happening here. I have a feeling that if we go under scene, and we'll search up physics debug. Well, we are submitting the submesh index. We grab that. We grab the debug mesh. Oh, Come on. Okay, so yeah. What is this? Like it's looks like it's doing it, it's just not rendering it at the correct location. Okay, now the simple one is rendered correctly. The triangle one, not so much. So this one's not rendered correctly because we still needed to tell, we need to tell it the submesh index for this one as well, kind of. I think. Or do we? I mean, I don't think so. Well, maybe. Because obviously I could just go in here and say use simple as complex. So I can save. And you can see it's correct. Because this goes through and does everything. But I don't think that's strictly accurate anymore. Because is it? I mean, I guess maybe. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's technically correct. It's just, it looks weird at some times. So this was purely because it wasn't saving the prefabs, I think. Fixed convex collider cooking. Yeah, we could say that in here. You could say if this fails and if the result is 0 area test failed. Well, we could just say we'll try to use access line bounding boxes instead. Potentially. Technically correct, it just looks weird sometimes. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Because the complex are triangle. I mean, I guess those could still be like per submesh. Technically. So in here, we could say, okay, let's use submesh index instead of just going through all of them. That way these kinds of meshes would work for dynamic meshes as well, properly. Which I think we want, possibly. Well, I'm not sure I want to make it into to-do. It might be worth fixing it right away. Because it would probably be quite simple. We just have to do what we do up here instead. You know what? Let's give it a go. So, just to, give it a test. We'll comment out the for loop, which I think is that bracket. Because this then becomes that add component submesh index. And we also need to add this check. And in theory, that should be everything. Okay. Just submesh index. I'm hoping it just magically works with no issues whatsoever. But I mean, let's face it, when has anything ever worked flawlessly without any issue? Because now, I mean, like this will still look incorrect because I haven't updated the rendering. Because we need to include a submesh index. Now this is bound to break these guys as well, but we can just provide it with 0, I think. And that should be fine. And instead of doing this, we just do that. Potentially. Not sure if that will look correct, but let's give it a go. You got the audio working. Awesome. It's interesting how big of a difference audio can actually make when it comes to any kind of game. Now I just think it's a matter of the transform being incorrect. Also, let me just do this. Stop using that all the time. Hello? Wait. Yeah, so I think now it's just a matter of doing this. Maybe. And now it looks correct. The question is, will it actually work properly? I think that looks correct at least. Sort of. Yes. Correct. Way better than the spaghetti, exactly. Now the question is, does it function like the way it should? And I think I want to try that with the sandbox project. And I think that's correct. I mean, it looks like it's rendering properly. This one's using a capsule collider, so if we remove that, we give it a mesh collider. Yeah, I mean, that looks like it's, mostly correct. Now, does it function the same? Well, I mean, yeah, I fixed it kind of quickly, but also I wrote it and I have like pretty good understanding of where the issues that I can see will be in this system, because I've been working with it for so damn long. Now, if I give this dynamic, works like a charm. But yeah, I mean, it's easier to fix problems if you perfectly understand like the systems that are causing the problems. So I love seeing captures falling like that. Yeah. You can actually have some super satisfying physics simulations with very simple shapes. So yeah, I mean, I think that's accurate. Looks like it was working. I should probably try it with the forest as well, to be honest. To just be super safe about it. Which one is it? This one, maybe? Wish I could afford the Patreon. I'd use Hazel every day. Yeah, but I mean, like, if you can't afford it, then you shouldn't, like, even think about actually, like, doing it. Let's go ahead and try and rebuild this. Yeah, you see, there's some issues now with the tree. And I'm not sure why. Will Hazel ever be a premium like Unreal or Unity? The idea is that it will be free to use eventually, yeah. Like, we'll not, like, you'll still probably have to pay for, like, the source code. If you want it, like, you have to be a, you know, Patreon member. But you will be able to use Hazel for free. Eventually. But that's probably gonna come after we've made, like, a game that we can actually release on Steam. I suspect. Okay, so now it's rendering correctly. Or at least one of them are. But now I suspect that the submesh one won't be. Like in not Sandbox. Script Invaders. Like, I have a feeling, yeah, now these guys aren't rendering correctly. So there's something is causing problems specifically in the offset issue. I don't know. Like, specifically the Mesh Collider editor that seems to be rendering things incorrectly. When we kind of because if I go and add kind of account for the submesh transform in here as well, yeah, it didn't look completely broken, I agree. It's just mesh. But it definitely looked weird. Because if I have a look in here now, we should see that, yeah, like now you can see these are rendering correctly. Although it's interesting that the trunk doesn't seem to have, it only seems to like be a crown. Which is weird. What if I play? Okay. Did not like that. Just have to reply to something here. See, the thing is, why isn't this working correctly? It's because they're two different submeshes. I suspect that's the case. Which is exactly why we can't do this. Yeah, no. Ah, that's annoying. Meaning this doesn't work. Because yeah, we kind of have to bring them back to what they used to be. Unfortunately. So basically that means you can't have if you're gonna have a triangle mesh for like a dynamic mesh, you kind of need to have it on the parent and the parent alone, which kind of defeats the purpose. We may need, like, I think I can make it work if I spend enough time on it. Potentially, but I think it would also require us changing it would probably require us changing the mesh system again, at least a little bit, which I'm not comfortable doing. Okay. So now if I take a look at the forest, we should, yeah. Although this is still rendering incorrectly. I think I'm going about this incorrectly, because that is rendering incorrectly because we're no longer taking in the submesh transform up here, which we kind of need to do. Like that. And now we can see it's rendering correctly. However, going to script invaders, now I suspect, yeah, now we have this whole problem again. So if I do use simple as complex, we can see it's not completely wrong. It's just partially wrong. But I don't know why the preview in there would be different from the preview in the world. Because that kind of hints at us having some issues with the something else. What if you bring the model from the preview into the world? Yeah, we can do that. Let's open up dummy. Let's get rid of those two. And it's this one. So there we have that. We then select all of these and we give it the mesh collider like that. Do Control P. And we change it from selected to all. And we then go in here. We say use simple as complex, cook, save. Yeah, that also looks incorrect. So it works. Oh no, hang on. I know why this is the case. It's because of the fact that these are children, whereas the tree isn't a child. Yeah, the model itself is correct. But this is a dynamic mesh, whereas the tree is a static mesh. Meaning that they kind of use different, like they apply transforms slightly differently. And that's causing the preview to be rendered weirdly in some cases. Because if I go back in here and we remove that, then it will look correct for the alien but not for the tree. Now it's also important to keep in mind this is just a preview. I think the actual colliders will still be correct. I think. Although I'm not 100% sure. But still, having the preview be correct is important. So if now load this, we enable that, we do all. No, that still doesn't look correct. It looks correct in here, but not in here. What? Okay. I'm gonna do a quick test. To see if the collider itself is correct. Oh, try to type there. Make them dynamic. Okay, but the preview is not correct in here, but not in here. Are we not using the correct submesh index? I don't think we are. I think we're just using the same submesh index all the time. In here. Yeah, because we never actually set the submesh index. So we have a new one. We kind of need to get submesh index from the mesh. Which we're apparently not doing. Well, we do it here, but that's only if we have to create it, not if it doesn't. If it already exists, then that's a problem. I mean, let's just come down here and do if entity has components, mesh components. We need to do component dot submesh mesh index. So this should update it to be correct, I think. Because we were kind of using the same submesh index for all, like, children, all of the children. Now, I don't know that this will be correct right now. However, if I go in here and I reassign them, then it updates and it's correct. And the colliders do seem to be correct as well. Yeah, for some reason we're only doing this if we don't have one. This should always be done. So basically that should always happen. And it's now happening correctly. Okay, good, good. Now if I go and open up LD50, we can see that for the trees, it's not correct. So, and that's because it's a static mesh, but it still has like a dynamic mesh, like debug mesh effectively, which is a problem. And it's actually caused by presumably this function, when we have a triangle collider. Oh, that's super annoying. I mean, I can fix the debug rendering pretty easily, actually. The thing is, though, I'm not sure if it's just a debug rendering issue. So if I... this is gonna be fun. We're going to debug mode. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the Let 'em Dare project, and I'm gonna simulate the physics and see if the tree colliders looks correct. If they do, then I know it's literally just a debug issue, which I mean, I suspect it is either way. But it's always best to kind of verify it. I thought I had properly tested all of this stuff, but clearly I hadn't. Which is kind of annoying. Let's open up the physics visual debugger. But it's gonna be painful. Debug mode is so damn slow.
Battery 80%.
Okay, let's open up LD50. Which is taking forever. Okay, good. So now, if we do, first of all, enable physics visualization, we take a look. You can see the trees don't look correct. Yeah, battery 80%. That's just me, like, I have to click a button to actually get it to check, but, so, sorry about that, but I kinda need to know that. Let's do that for a bit. And let's see, here we have a tree. Oh no. Yeah, it's not just the visualization that's messed up. It's the shape as well. So the local pose is 0, which... So why is it here then? These all have a rotation applied, but they're all at 0, 0. This one is at 0, 0, but it doesn't have any rotation, which I expect is fine. So maybe it's the geometry? Or... Why is this? That makes no sense. That's a convex mesh for a static mesh, which should be fine. But I think the issue is sometimes we have to use honestly, this is a really frustrating issue. That is one big stream delay. Okay. Yeah, this is actually more of a complex problem than I thought. Because... Oh, that's annoying. Just create a bug fix branch, put it there. Yeah. I think it's even like possibly an issue with cooking. Well, maybe not. But it's an issue with the physics shapes. So this, like a convex, doesn't work for static meshes. and the triangle doesn't work for dynamic meshes, we effectively need to kind of have this code depend on whether it's dynamic or static mesh. Because the code does change. That's frustrating. Basically, if it's, let's see, if it's a static mesh, we need this. Oh, yeah. Let me just have a look. Here we don't set a local pose. We never set a local pose for convex stuff. Which, that doesn't seem correct. We'll try this. Don't launch into debug mode. Well, yeah, actually do launch in debug mode. So maybe we have to do this if this is on a static mesh, but not if it's on a dynamic mesh, potentially. Thank you. Let's make sure we connect and then simulate and stop. And we no longer have any convex shapes under the ground, because it is now up here. Okay, so we know that works for static meshes now. Question is, does it work for dynamic meshes? Let's open up Script Invaders and have a look at the alien collider. Which only uses a convex one. Start, simulate. Yeah, you see, it's not correct here now. because which does make sense, I guess. Right? So the technically what the correct fix here is if the mesh on this one is dynamic. No, if it's static, we need to do this. Right? So if entity that has component static mesh, wasn't it always? Yeah, it's always supposed to explode. Well, I mean, the thing is, it's possible that there is some tiny clipping due to some collider, right? It's also possible that Tim kind of designed it specifically so that it intersects, because it is supposed to explode, yeah. So he may have actually made it so all the pieces intersect a bit, so you actually get that kind of explosion force, almost. I don't know, but... Let's... Did I launch in debug mode? Yes, I did. So this should make it work with both static and dynamic meshes. So we go in here, we load up the dummy scene, we hit simulate, it does explode. Hang on. Oh, it's possible that we're seeing... What? What is happening here? Something is definitely not correct. This is so annoying. Daniel, what's up, man? How's it going? It's been better. I mean, I'm having some serious problems with some physics, which is annoying. Like, no matter what I do, it actually doesn't look correct. Yeah, basically I'm trying to solve some problems with the physics stuff. And something is horribly wrong. Somewhere. Yeah, sounds fun, right? So when we cook the convex mesh, we do this. Because I mean that used to be working. I think. Or maybe it wasn't. Are the convex colliders broken completely? Okay, sure, just don't start debugging. Yeah, the convex mesh is just broken. What? Okay, so we have a global pose here. Hang on. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do real quick is go in here and set this as the startup scene. I changed something recently to using world transform. Instead of kind of local transform. Which could potentially have done some problems. Or would it have? Because I mean, this is obviously not correct. But it's this one's. Yeah, whatever. So the actual like location of them are incorrect. I don't think this is necessarily an issue with the shapes. This could be an issue with the actor itself, because we changed how it works a little bit. We do get the world space transform matrix. But should we? I mean, I'm assuming we should. So they do, yeah, they explode because they're intersecting just so much, right? Because you can see they're all intersecting, which they shouldn't be. So you were actually correct, Analytics. They shouldn't be exploding. If we now start debugging, they still explode. Daniel, thank you for the resub, 2 months. Appreciated. But why do they look like this? It wasn't the actor position. How is it this broken? Is it the world transform scale? If I switch it back to that. What do we get? It still doesn't look correct. Yeah, something's gone horribly wrong. Is it the actual cooking that's screwed? Because we do kind of bake Is the origin of the pieces incorrect? That's a good question. If we check the global pose, it does have a rotation. But the shape doesn't. Which I think is correct. It looks like I'm trying to do something in Blender. Could it be the scale? You know, it would be great if I could tweak these values and kind of see it reflect. Let's try this. Reduce the scale, like, don't account for the kind of scale that we have in the collider asset. Now I'm actually kind of worried that it's something that I did, like on my local copy, and that it's not actually like an issue in the real version. I need to recook this, so let's switch to simple cook save. Let's start debugging. Oh, it's still happening. Yeah. The scale is incorrect. Because you can see in here it says scale of 4, right? But in here it has a scale of 2. So the scale is incorrect. Wait. No. Hang on. Am I incorrect? Oh, hang on. I know what's happening. Why it's scaling weirdly. It's because I think the scale is correct. Lot of spam bots today. So yeah, the submesh probably has a scale of 2, and then we scale the entity by 2, so it should have a scale of 4. So the scale is, in fact, correct, I think. Question is the rotation correct? And that is, it's entirely possible that the rotation is just wrong. Which definitely looks to be the case. Shouldn't I be taking rotation into account here? Clicky keys, yeah. I've applied some filters to help reduce it, but because it can get quite annoying, but it's not able to cancel it out completely. Where do we have? Yeah. We don't need to do that anymore, which, yeah. Okay. I have no idea what the problem is. Like, it doesn't look remotely correct. Let's take a look at number 4. Let's have a look at the... Okay, so that's the... translation there. Which is the same as it is in here. But what about the rotation though? Let's take a look. What is the rotational value here? And real part is that one positive. Which is correct. So the rotation is correct on that. Which means that it has to be the shape itself that's somehow messed up. So this is for some reason not correct. Or the actual data itself is not correct. So it's either this bit or in the cooking that it's messed up. So if we have a look in here, we do that. The geometry we use summer scale times entity.transform.scale. Type bounds, yeah. And that looks to be correct, which indicates that it's a problem with the cooking factory. Thing is though, I know I tested this multiple times. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stash them, save that. That means this code should now be back to exactly the way it is in the master branch, which will give me an accurate kind of view on whether it's something I did or something that's been there for a while. Okay, so now it looks weird because we're using the wrong submesh index. And we still are. God damn. So I basically need that fix. I do need this one. Can I reapply this? Guess I just have to, yeah. And let's reapply everything, restash everything except for this one. Stash. Fixing the issues one by one and committing them. Yeah. So, because now I just have the fix for kind of the submission X being incorrect. And I know that won't interfere with anything. So, I'll focus on this issue and see if I can find a fix for it. Or at the very least figure out why it's incorrect. So, select all of these, go and apply that. They should now use the correct submesh index. Let's start debugging, hit simulate, they still explode. They're still using the wrong one. Even though I reapplied the fix. Except apparently I didn't. Yeah, I stashed, but I deselected. I thought I had deselected that. What's up, Tim? You learning some Swedish there? I did notice on Discord you also used hello. Yeah. Yeah, so Tim, like, the issue you kind of had, the staff have it on their shirts. Awesome. Yeah, but the issue that you had, well, it's kind of devolved into an absolute mess because I just discovered so many other issues, apparently. Oh god, why? Let's discard all of those because they don't matter and then reapply. Thanks. Looks like a code release time. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I've been at it for almost 3 hours, sorry. And I'm just like, I don't understand. The thing is, I understand why you had your issue. Basically, it was failing to cook a simple mesh collider, and that's like not a problem. I sent you some descriptions, like some information on how to fix that. But apparently the convex colliders, like the simple colliders, so to speak, they're just broken. They don't actually look correct anymore. Do you want to? Yes. So let's bring that back. The thing is, I don't understand why this is incorrect. It shouldn't be incorrect. Okay. So if we actually look at the changes. We store the submesh index, which is correct. Now, admittedly, I don't take this into account anymore, but that's fine because the scale up for the collider asset was set to 1, so it doesn't matter. In here, this just affects the debug mesh, so that's fine. And we also get the submesh index there. That's also correct. And nothing else has been changed. So this is not my fault. Well, it is probably my fault, just not something I changed recently. So yeah, if you take a... I don't know if Tim's still here, but you can see, like... this does not look correct. And I'm wondering if it needs some... oh, you are. Yeah, and I'm wondering if it's just we need to account for some kind of rotation. Looks fine to me. Totally. Yeah. And I mean, this is just like default settings for the collider. And like, the debug mesh looks correct for the most part. Well, but the thing is, we do take the model scale into account when we create the shape, right? In here, let's see, here we are. We get the submesh scale, and we take that and the entity scale into account. Yeah, but the thing is, we don't account for parents anymore. Like these are now kind of their own separate things. Hang on. But the parent does have a uniform scale as well. So it's not bad. I'm genuinely just thinking there's something that needs to be rotated or translated, because the actor has the correct rotation and translation, which means that this is kind of the problematic bit. Yeah, so I suspect they're kind of in the correct sort of translation. It's just that the rotation needs to be fixed somehow. So we do GLM. And then for a rotation, let's maybe use just submesh rotation. Try applying it twice. Possibly the inverse of the rotation. Maybe. Because we take the rotation of the entity into account, but we never actually take the rotation of the submesh into account. But I don't think we've ever done that. So Now we actually do take that into account. Maybe we also need to take the submerged translation into account. Because this definitely looks stranger. I don't know, let's try that, I guess. See if it works. You would assume that the cell meshes don't have any rotation like that and would not generate splitting the model. Depends on if you apply transforms. If you don't apply the transformation, then they could potentially have some rotation, or even... I mean, I guess in this case the translation is the most likely one. Because yeah, rotation when it's splitting doesn't really make sense. And I mean, that doesn't look correct either. It's possible that I didn't apply the transform. Yeah. Okay. What if we just get rid of the rotation now? I don't think they are rotated when applying the shatter modifier. No, I don't think so either. Like, why would they be? It's literally just cutting lines. They're not changing orientation or anything. So, I mean, maybe that's the problem, the fact that the transform wasn't applied? I mean, that doesn't look correct either. Yeah. Like, no matter what I do, it doesn't look correct. Maybe let's try using a different mesh. Right, so let's use another dynamic mesh. That's interesting. Do you have the mesh with applied transformations? So I don't have the like Blender files or anything like that. I do have like the FX files, obviously, but I think you can just import the GLTF into Blender and check. Okay. Yeah, because I guess if you didn't apply the GLTF, if you didn't apply the transforms, then it would. The GLTF should be in the models directory. Okay. That's not it. It's under here. Script invaders, assets, models, and it was the. Which one is it? Is Is it the octopus alien? Or the squid? Shattered alien. Just alien. Well, that doesn't seem to actually be here. Interestingly enough. All right. Everything. Alien. Yeah, we just have the squid and the octopus. I wanna start. Oh, so yeah, FBX probably. Yeah, that definitely looks to be like it's the one. So let's go and import FBX instead. You can technically search all files in PowerToys ROM prefixing the question mark. Yeah, I think. Yeah, they're not indexed. Not all files are indexed, so. So is it the exploded alien? No space. Oh. Because I think it's one of these that I was using. Yeah, I think it's this one. Yeah. They don't seem to have the transformation supplied. By all. Yeah. So that could potentially be the problem. So if I re-export it, and it was this one, mesh selected object. No, hang on. Select all. Scale should. I haven't exported stuff from here in forever. So should it be scale 1 or 0.1 or 0.001? I don't know, let's just try it. So we export that. And then 0.01. Okay. Just goes to show I haven't exported anything from Blender to Hazel in ages. Export. And I think it's this one, reload it. You sure about that? You sure that's correct? That doesn't look quite right. Let's try that. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't look correct either. Oh, it's because all of these have like a freaking rotation applied. And presumably a scale as well, or a translation. Am I just stupid or something? What? Oh. Okay, hang on. So maybe only apply the... Maybe only apply the translation and the rotation? But they don't even have the origin in the correct spot. Yeah, FBX uses... Well, I think it's more that Blender uses different units. And also FBX probably uses some different units as well. But it does have to do with, like... Try exporting. Okay, so... Yeah. Export. GLTF. And so do I do binary or separate? Let's try separate, I guess. That tends to work fine, I think. Selected objects, yeah. Transform Y up, yeah, that's correct. Separate, yeah. Sure, let's do it. Let's get rid of you. Models. DLTF, and let's start explode. So it's this one. Yeah, whatever. Generate collider, sure. Okay, so now it looks correct, at least, in the scene. Well, mostly correct. Let's start physics debugging. Hit simulate. Well, yeah. That is definitely a lot more correct. Yeah, the infinite grid is super nice, although, like, Xerox told me, like, definitely try fading it out more. But, you know, so yeah, I mean, is that what it's supposed to look like, though? Because, like, it is a convex, so it's not gonna look perfect. So this may, in fact, be exactly what it should look like. No. No. Hang on. It looks correct because this is, in fact, a triangle mesh. You haven't reapplied the... what fix? The submesh fix? Yeah, I've reapplied that. But this is still not technically accurate because it's using the wrong thing. let me just move this out of the way real quick. So I can go and grab this one, drag that in there. If that works. No, it doesn't. That's pretty dumb. So it's this one. This is the correct one. And let's say use simple as complex, cook, we crash. Because this. Get out of here. So is this the correct one? I guess let's see if that works. Give it that one. Save. Debug. Start debugging. Simulate. Okay, so the question is does this look incorrect because... Is this incorrect? Is the question. It doesn't look entirely right. Let's compare it to this one. Yeah, I think it's correct. But now this also looks correct. What? What's happening? Yeah, so I mean it's not gonna look like perfect because it is convex. If we change this to all and show. But now I mean the preview doesn't look right. But that's might be fine. Yeah, it can't have curves, obviously. So... yeah, the scale. Because yeah, this definitely looks a lot more correct. So it was probably an issue with the actual export. You don't really trust the physics colliders. What do you mean? They're awesome. Yeah, no. They change in the runtime. Oh, you mean these? So I fixed that whole thing about them changing in the runtime. But there's obviously still some problems here, as we can clearly see. Yeah, exactly. This one just looks like it has an incorrect scale, which, you know, I suspect is definitely the case. And like that could potentially even be because of which one we use here. So if we do exploded, cook, save. Yeah, because now the preview looks correct, and now my performance is dying. The question is, will the actual collider look correct now? Hang on, I have to see this kind of happening on my other monitor. That clears it. It does record it, okay. So the thing is, I don't think it's actually an issue with the... Like, that scale issue is probably due to this, I suspect. We can easily check that, actually. Okay, I'm gonna save and I'm gonna restart this. So that, yeah, my performance tanked if you open up the Mesh Collider editor a couple of times. It's like a massive memory leak. And I need to tell Jan to fix that, because it has to do with the scene renderer. It should be better now. But yeah, so I can easily check that like preview thing by simply going in here, clearing this. That way it will generate a new one. And going this and do all. But it won't actually generate it by default because of the settings. But I mean, one quick way of testing this is to go into Meshes, Space Invaders, delete this one, boom, go into the colliders, search for exploded, do that, cook, save, and reapply it. And you can see the scale is fine. Because now it's actually using the kind of new one. And just to be safe, let's do that. Take a look in here. That looks mostly correct. If I add a rigid body and set it to dynamic, we hit simulate, it does work. Okay. And we can see that working perfectly here. Yeah, so it works. Turns out it wasn't the physics system. It was, in fact, the exported model that had problems. Now, I don't doubt for a second that there's still some issues somewhere. There's bound to be. Is it possible to transfer information from you to Jan? If it's helpful. Like, I mean, in what way? I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Tweet him. Like, I will say, if you go through like he's a hard man to contact in a lot of cases. I know, like, he doesn't, I don't think he checks, like, understandably so, like, he gets a lot of people kind of sending him messages and stuff like that. I think, like, the most reliable way to get in touch is through his email, potentially. Okay, so are there any issues that I need to solve now? I mean, I suppose I should re-add that scale thing here, because that like lets you actually scale the collider itself. I mean, can you send him messages on Discord? Or does he have it set to kind of only accept from friends? But yeah, I mean, send him a message on Discord that, like, he'll probably check it eventually. Yeah. You can. Okay. Well, hopefully he gets back to you. Yeah, I was kind of wondering what... Just keyboard matching. This should definitely exist, yeah. Hang on. Wait. Oh no, wait. Yeah, I need to presumably get rid of that. Discard that. Steam confirmation code. Awesome. Just want to recommend information about the Russian equivalent of Patreon to support Hazel. Yeah. I mean, I do think it's a shame that people in Russia can't, like, actually be a Patreon anymore. Like, using actual Patreon. Yeah, so, okay. I now know that this whole problem was actually Tim's fault instead of mine. So, but there are some stuff that I actually need to commit. Like that, for example. I'm not sure about this submesh transform thing. That's kind of the only question I have now. If I go into scene renderer, we change this back to if you say it in chat, I'll mention it to him tomorrow. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to get in touch. Because of the banking sanctions, so let's focus on physics. Yeah. Oh, hit 410. Thank you so much for the Prime subscription. Like, that is seriously appreciated. But I don't think he would switch platforms. Yeah, no, I don't think it's gonna switch from Patreon. That would involve so much work, I think. Add it though if it works. Possibly. Like, I don't think it's gonna do a full switch, but yeah, maybe have it in addition to Patreon. Yeah, it's an alternative for Russian subscribers. Okay, so don't boost it. It's kind of lucky that I actually did save in the past. MoveBot would ban people for posting links, but it would sometimes interpret something as a link even though it wasn't. So I had to disable that. Yeah, so I don't think doing submesh transform here is correct. At least not all the time. Or maybe it is, and it's just some weird stuff going on. Withdrawals are available for Europe. Yeah, but would that work though for Australia? Is the question. Yeah, be sure to apply those transforms. Thank you so much, Tim. Have a good night. Hope you're planning on sleeping at least a few hours. But yeah, so I think that's... Let's stage that. Let's stage that. Let's stage that to do. Let's stage that. What did I do here? Right, so that definitely should be staged. And let's stage that. Content browser panel, what? You see, I hate this. It's just, no. Get rid of it. Discard. So, okay. So it's unapplied transform not supporting the engine. I think it's partially supported. Like the rendering does support it to some degree, but that might be because of async. Xbanky, thank you for following. But generally speaking, you should apply transforms when using Hazel, or you'll spend hours ripping your hair out because you don't understand why it's not working. It would be nice if I could make it so that the physics system supports unapplied transforms as well. But yeah, I think generally speaking, to be safe, apply the transforms. Use the correct sub mesh when used with dynamic meshes. Fix crash when trying to get debug physics mesh. Semi-fixed debug physics meshes being rendered with the wrong transforms. Yeah, that's pretty much what we have. So let's push that. I swear to God, there were some other issues that I was planning on fixing. But either way, I'm not gonna do anything more on this stream because it's dinner time. So, I really enjoyed the stream. It was a lot of fun. I'll probably stream some more. I'm probably not going to be streaming tomorrow because I have some other things to take care of, and also I'm probably not going to stream on Friday because my girlfriend is graduating, so I'm going to be busy all day. But maybe on Saturday I can do some more streaming. So, but yeah, I'm gonna be heading out today. And I guess I'll see you guys on the next stream, hopefully. So have a good day.